Hey everyone, welcome back to another Go Battle League video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a no legendary team that did really well for me. I think I ended up playing 3 sets. I went 4-1, 4-1, and 3-2. So today I'm going to be showcasing those battles. Actually, I think I played 4 sets. Um, but anyways, I don't even think I said in like my last 3 videos, I hit level 41. For those of you that have been keeping up with me for a while, I hit level 40 back in July. So I've definitely been grinding. So that's been nice to hit level 41. But getting into this gameplay, this team consists of Dragonite, Metagross, and that thing, Excadrill, my favorite Pokemon in Masters. So it's a double steel backline with Dragonite in the lead. So a lot of times you'll want to be switching out of the lead, even if it is pretty neutral. So a Palkia switch in is not great, but I can just come in Dragonite, and an Aqua Tail won't really threaten me here. At this point, it's going to be tough, depending on what he has in the back. I have some hope, but Metal-Metal is not what you like to see in the lead, and especially not with Palkia safe swap. So I catch the Rock Slide here, which is huge. This damage is basically going to be wasted, so that's nice. I am down a shield, so I'm going to have to make the most of the situation that I'm in. I'm just going to go for the drill run right away, and my opponent staying in is a little bit worrisome, but it is also a little bit comforting. Maybe whatever he has in the back is scared to see Excadrill, and I'm just going to shield up this superpower, basically try and prevent as much damage as I can. At this point, I'm going to build up to 2 drill runs, because I have to. And this one's going to KO. What does he have in the back? Dialga. That's doable. I know Dragonite is loaded with energy in the back. And is 3 Dragon Claws going to be enough to KO Dialga? So this first one's coming through. Ooh, it's not looking like it. I'm just going to throw 2 Dragon Tails, get to the second Dragon Claw here, and let's see. Oh? Maybe? Are we going to take this first game in a hard counter matchup? And we do! The Dragon Claw is enough to KO. Oh man, this game was crazy. Storing all that energy on Dragonite ended up being huge. It was actually the reason I won that game. So, very nice game 1. Getting into a Groudon lead. He switches out immediately, making me think he has Mud Shot. And I don't really have a great answer to Groudon, but I also don't have a great answer to Yveltal. So what I'm going to do, just going to store up a bunch of energy on Dragonite. I'm going to throw after getting to 2 Dragon Claws. And my opponent shields, thinking that it might be a Hurricane, and I'm just going to take shield advantage here. I'm just going to shield up Excadrill. Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, going to be doing a lot of damage, and he ends up throwing the Blast. So at this point I can build up a lot of energy, and I'm actually going to throw at the CMP. I think Excadrill beats Yveltal in CMP. So, yeah, I end up winning CMP, or my opponent overfarmed, but he lets it go and comes back in with Groudon. And at this point, I've overfarmed so much energy, I'm going to have enough to throw 2 drill runs here, and my opponent has to throw a Fire Punch. So I'm in a really nice position here. This is kind of looking to be a pretty hard counter game, but it is a little bit tough because if you instantly switch Excadrill on the Yveltal, I think you lose the 2 shield? Maybe you lose the 1 shield, just because Dark Pulse does a lot. I might be wrong, but I think that that's the case. Anyways, I'm just going to throw this Earthquake against Dialga, and my opponent's just going to concede the match. And we have a matchup against Barack or Obama. Excadrill in the lead. Obviously, this probably isn't Barack Obama, but let's see how this matchup is going to play out. I let the first Rock Slide go because I live it, and I want to pressure shields, so I was able to get the fast move through on the first Rock Slide, so I'm going to throw right as he gets to his second Rock Slide. I am going to shield up, and at this point I'm going to throw 3 Dragon Claws, because this means it would be right before he gets his next move. If he wants to shield, he can take switch advantage, but it gives me a pretty good cushion for farm down, and he shields and switches, which is a really weird play. He ends up banking the energy, which is going to be pretty crucial for him. But he's going to give up switch advantage, so I'm just going to throw Meteor Mash here at this Lugia, and what I do here is probably the worst thing I could have done in this situation. I shield up the Aeroblast and go for the farm down. Now, I have 0 shields, and remember what I said about Excadrill banking that energy in the back. I can farm all the way down and have all the energy in the world. He can just come back in Excadrill and just nullify all that energy that I built up. And now, this game is basically over, right? It depends on what he has in the back, but he has a shield, and there's, like, not much I can do in this situation. He ends up having a Gyarados in the back, which is so bad. And Aqua Tail's basically going to KO at this range. And what I end up doing is catching... There's a little bit of lag, so I think he might have been, like, in the process of throwing. But I end up catching on Dragonite, using it as a sack swap. And at this point, this matchup becomes a little bit more clear. I just have to build up to 2 Rock Slides. Pray that he doesn't catch on his Lugia, but... I'm just going to go straight for the next Rock Slide, and he ends up staying in, so this Rock Slide is going to KO, and he has that low health Lugia in the back with no energy, and we're going to be able to take that matchup. So, in a situation that looked all but lost, we ended up finding hope in a sack swap and winning that matchup. Alright, so Mewtwo on the lead. What I like to do here is throw 3 Dragon Claws and try and catch. I actually ended up throwing 4 there, which is kind of a weird number to try and catch at, because I think Ice Beam is like 7 or 8 Psycho Cuts, Shadow Ball is 7, Side Strike is 5, so they're not really going to want to throw at 6. But I end up switching into Metagross here. It's not amazing, because I think what ends up happening is the Mewtwo has a Shadow Ball, and at this point, there's not a lot I can do. I'm going to get this... Oh, I'm not going to get the second shield. So basically what I've done is given up switch and given up shield for a little bit of energy on Excadrill. And he has Zacian in the back. This game has to be a loss, right? Like, there's not much I can do here. I'm going to go for the Hurricane. This will be doing some decent damage. But especially if my opponent has Play Rough, like, this game's just over. So, he ends up throwing the Play Rough, taking me out, and, well, if I can get to the second drill run, we'll be okay. I get to the second drill run, which is nice. My opponent was not at the close combat, so... And let's see what he has in the back. My opponent has Dialga in the back. So we just absolutely flipped this game with Excadrill as the closer. These games were played a few days ago, like 2 days ago, I think, so I don't remember everything that happened, but this has to be an Iron Head, right? It's an Iron Head, and I live, and I end up getting the drill run. Crazy close game. So yeah, I'm trying to refresh myself on what happened as well, so. But wow, what a game. That looked, another situation that looked all but lost, and I was able to come back in the craziest way possible. So, we have a rank 20, so this person must have started late and have such an insane win rate. We do have a Palkia lead, very neutral. Actually, I think Dragonite does win this because I have Dragon Claw, and my opponent ends up catching on Lugia. This is okay. I'm going to switch into Metagross here. It's going to be a harder check to Lugia. And, let's see. I think I throw 1 Meteor Mash on alignment. Or maybe, like, giving my opponent 1 free turn of energy, but not anything significant. And at this point, I can shield an Aeroblast and farm down. And I think that's what I end up doing. At this point, I think my opponent can Sky Attack me, but that's okay. And this situation, where shielding and farming down is an option, is a lot smarter now, because this Palkia has an Aqua Tail banked in the back, but it's not going to KO Metagross at this range, so it's not too big of a deal. So Aqua Tail is going to get me low. Also, what I could have considered doing is throwing double Meteor Mash. I was at 100 energy, so I would be able to get them both off, but my opponent lets the Earthquake go, which is nice. And he comes in with Metal-Metal. Again, another very tricky matchup to be in. Obviously, he knows the drill run's coming, and he actually shields the first one, so this is nice. I think at this range, a drill run will start KO, or it should probably KO. Again, I'm going to shield the first move. If my opponent wants to bait the Rock Slide, nice. The Superpower will do more damage, but he throws the Superpower first, so this next one's not going to be doing as much damage as a non-debuff Superpower. I stay in the yellow. I throw this move immediately. I probably could have farmed up 1 or 2 Mud Shots worth of energy, but trying to play it safe. And yeah, well, there's nothing in the back, so there's no point in farming any extra energy. I'm glad that I'm not playing these battles right now because obviously I'm not the most focused. So, okay, we have a Zacian lead, obviously so bad, and my opponent safe switches Zekrom into an Excadrill. This had to be a mishap? Like, there's no way my opponent doesn't have a better answer. Like, even Zacian's a pretty good answer. But let's see, Zekrom has Outrage, so he doesn't even have the Crunch. I end up very, very healthily winning the one shield. And let's see what my opponent has in the back. Is it going to be Zacian? He is going to come back in with Zacian. At this point, I'm going to throw the Drill Run. This will be taking about half of its health out. And I'm just going to go for another one. I think Zacian wins CMP. So I end up denying the fast move. Let's see, actually. Yeah. And Zacian ends up throwing at 100 energy. Obviously, going to let this go. Close combat, debuffs, so he doesn't throw a Play Rough. At this point, I'm going to come in Metagross and actually farm all the way down. He obviously had energy, which I probably could have just shielded up and farmed down anyway, and then gotten the Earthquake off on Dialga, so another very decisive victory. We have another Groudon lead, another Mudshot Groudon lead. Dragonclaw Groudon, it's okay. I know King says that it walls his team, but Excadrill and Metagross both have play, especially with shields up. So I'm going to let this move go. It's weird that he's staying in this long. I'm just going to throw these Dragon Claws. It makes me think that he's weak to Dragonite in the back as well. So what I'm going to end up looking to do, just soak all this energy, farm all the way down, and then switch out of this matchup. So whatever he comes in with, yeah, I'm looking to safe swap Excadrill. He has Togekiss, and then he has Giratina. So at this point, we have a very solid win condition. This game's actually over. I do have the Metagross in the back to handle Togekiss. I can let this Giratina take me down, and then I can come in with Dragonite and unload all this energy. My opponent actually ends up Ominous Winding, which isn't great for him. At this point, I'm going to be able to get probably 2 more drill runs, unless he throws another wind. But let's see. Yeah, I get to another drill run. I get a shield, and let's see. I get 2 shields, and at this point, this game is absolutely over. I let the Ominous Wind go. My opponent undercharges, which is not a bad play. I'm just going to come in with Dragonite, throw this Dragon Claw right away, and this should be doing enough to KO Giratina, and at this point I can come in Metagross, and you couldn't ask for a more dominant game. Obviously most of that was due to team comp, but my opponent definitely got in his own head. So getting into this next matchup, we have Dragonite lead against Togekiss. Alright, well this is horrible. I'm going to safe swap Excadrill because it is a softer counter, and my opponent comes in with Giratina. So if he fights for switch, this game is most likely over, unless there's something in the back that Metagross can absolutely wall. It is nice to get Giratina out of the way, though, because Metagross does not want to see it. I correctly shield the Shadow Ball, which is huge. That means I'm going to be able to outpace this Giratina to another Shadow Ball. We have 2 drill runs here, and my opponent lets it go again. And he shields this one up, gets a move off, and at this point, my opponent has given up switch. Togekiss, I think, can beat Metagross with the shield up, because Flamethrower is going to be enough to take it out. But I think my Excadrill has close to a Rock Slide banked, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. They're probably going to get to the Flamethrower here, right? Yeah. This is going to give me super low. Let's see. Yeah, Excadrill has so much health still. So I'm going to throw this Rock Slide. My opponent gets a fast move through, but it's not a big deal because it's going to faint anyways. And my opponent does have the Giratina in the back with a little bit of health and Lugia. So I ended up actually switching a little bit too late. And this allows my opponent to get to an Aeroblast. And I think that might have been pretty decisive of the game, because this Rock Slide would come through. If I would have been able to get that Hurricane off at CMP, it would have done enough with the Rock Slide damage to take out Lugia, and then he had a Giratina in the back with a little bit of health. So definitely a big misplay on my end, not switching out in time, but that's okay. We have a Dialga lead, very bad, and my opponent switches in Snorlax. Very nice counter. Superpower is going to be doing neutral. This lick damage is oppressive. Meteor Mash is going to be doing like 55%. And my opponent's overfarming so much. He allows me to get to 2 moves before he even throws 1. So definitely at the double superpower right now. And let's see. I'm going to shield up the first move. This ends up being a superpower. Let's see. I can probably end up shielding and farming down, and that's what I'm going to do. Since Dialga's in the back, an Earthquake would be getting the shield or taking that out. And he actually switches... Whoa! He actually switches Dialga into the Metagross. He is going to shield, but my opponent ends up giving up switch advantage, which is... like, my opponents definitely were not playing the best today. Dialga is going to get to an Iron Head. This is not enough for the Draco, so I'm going to be healthily living that, and let's see what he has in the back. It is a Mewtwo, so I'm going to throw 4. My opponent does get a fast move through, which is okay. I'm going to throw this Drill Run, and then I'm just going to farm up to another one. My opponent has to throw before I get to this move, and he's getting a little bit too greedy with the farm. And this Mewtwo is going to be going down. I still have a full health Dragonite in the back, so this game was all but over. Anyways, getting into the next match, we have Dragonite on the lead against Excadrill again. Excadrill does win in all shields, but Dragonite can win by going down a shield. And again, probably going to let this Rock Slide... Ooh, I actually shield up the first Rock Slide. So, playing this matchup a little bit differently here. I'm going to go for the fast move through. At this point, I'm at 2 Dragon Claws. I'm going to let the Rock Slide go, and my opponent comes into Metagross. I'm just going to farm all this energy, and I'm going to come in Excadrill. This is such a dominant matchup, and my opponent's going to throw Meteor Mash. That's absolutely fine. I think he didn't farm up to an Earthquake. I'm going to slightly undercharge this Drill Run so I can farm all the way down. And at this point, I have another move banked on Excadrill. This is probably going to be getting a shield from whatever comes in, unless it is a Lugia. So, this Rock Slide's going to be doing about 40%. No, it does like 30 to 35%, I think. I think it does like 35. But my opponent ends up actually shielding up the first Rock Slide. Yeah, that does like probably a third. And at this point, I can come in Metagross, and Metagross wins all shield scenarios. My opponent comes back in Excadrill, and since I have such a big energy lead on Dragonite, I'm going to come in here and just unload all these Dragon Claws. Definitely could have considered throwing the Hurricane here, but since I had so much energy, I was thinking that my opponent might have shielded, so I'm going to get to my 3rd Dragon Claw. Yeah, my opponent's getting greedy with energy here, so we're going to be able to take that out. And Lugia is going to come back in. I'm up a shield, and I have a full health Metagross. Even if my opponent throws a Sky Attack here, which he does, I'm going to be able to get to a Meteor Mash here, and then I should be able to farm down, or this Meteor Mash will be coming pretty close to taking out the Lugia. So This is going to be another GG. Pretty dominant matchup. If you're going to be fighting for switch advantage, definitely don't swap out after you've already won switch advantage. It basically just throws the entire game. And that's kind of the moral of this video. So let's see, this is going to be the last set I actually played this morning, about 2 hours ago. Dragonite against Mewtwo. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to throw 3 Dragon Tails, wait just a second, and then actually try and catch the Side Strike. And I do here, so at this point, this Dragon Tail damage from Dragonite has done enough to where I can basically match shields with Metagross, or I can go down a shield, and I can just take out this Mewtwo. If they want to dump all their shields, I can just farm down. So at this point, Mewtwo shielded to be able to get the next Shadow Ball off. What I can do here is just shield and farm down. No point in throwing because my opponent would just let it go. And at this point, I basically have 2 Meteor Mashes stored. And my opponent comes in Zekrom, and I go for a Meteor Mash. Definitely not the right move because I would have very heavily outpaced to the second Earthquake. But, I mean, seeing that Dragon Electric typing come in, it's a little bit weird to gauge. So I was like, oh, it's a Dragon type, like, it's not a Dialga, I'm just going to throw this Meteor Mash, but obviously Electric is going to be resisting that, and then it's going to be taking super effective from Earthquake, so. But anyways, he had Dialga in the back, and my opponent sees the writing on the wall, and it's going to be another GG, so. Another good lead, I think that was Giratina, and my opponent switches into Dialga, so can't ask for much better of a matchup with this team. My opponent goes for the Draco. Since I got the shield anyways, like, I was very comfortable with matching shields, getting ahead on energy, and taking switch very comfortably. I'm just going to farm up to 100 energy, and throw this Drill Run, and my opponent comes back in with Giratina, but at this point I already have 2 Drill Runs loaded, and if my opponent wants to try and get ahead on energy, I'm going to be able to get to a 3rd one. So let's see. These Drill Runs are doing about 40%. Getting Giratina into the red, and at this point, he can actually farm me down, which is really nice for him. I'm probably going to have to let a Shadow Ball go through. I don't want to go down a shield, not knowing what he has in the back. He has a Metal-Metal in the back, and this is a little bit tricky, but my opponent throws it like 8. I'm going to let this go, even if it's a superpower. It's a Thunderbolt. I've never seen Metal-Metal with Thunderbolt in the Master League. Definitely a very spicy moveset. But at this point, I'm going to bait the Meteor Mash. It does get a shield. And at this point, I can very comfortably shield the Thunderbolt. And I can get to this Earthquake. This is going to be GG. He has the Giratina in the back. Giratina can throw its energy. But Dragonite will be able to come in, farm down, or get a Dragon Claw off. So this is going to be GG. Actually, Metagross is going to do the job for me. So very nice win. Getting into this next matchup, we have a very bad lead in Dialga, and I'm going to switch into Metagross, and my opponent has Excadrill. This is perfect, right? Now, look very, very closely into this matchup. I live this Drill Run with enough health to tank a Mud Shot here. Absolutely enough health to tank a Mud Shot here. My opponent gets an invisible Mud Shot through, and then gets another Mud Shot through before I can get 1 Bullet Punch through to get to this Earthquake. I was going to go for the Earthquake. In any normal non-laggy game, I get to that Earthquake, and I threaten a shield, and then I can come in with my own Excadrill, get a little bit ahead on energy, and at least have some play. But no, the game decides, oh, let's give the opponent 2 free Mud Shots worth of energy before you can even get to 1 Bullet Punch. So I can see the match. I was like, does that Mud Shot really do enough to take me out? But no, he actually got to 2. I thought I was going insane for a minute. But hey, the game needs to be fixed, and there's primal evidence. So another bad lead, another bad swap. So I get a shield with Metagross against the Yveltal, and I'm just going to get ahead on energy. We've already seen from the first battle how well Dragonite can do with a little bit of energy. I'm just going to let this Dragon or this Dark Pulse go. I'm going to farm down Yveltal. At this point, I have so much energy. I can dump off 2 Dragon Claws. And he's going to shield the first one, maybe thinking that I have Outrage. And what I'm going to do here is just going to take that energy to the bank. I have a Dragon Claw, and then I'm 1 Dragon Tail away from another one, so if my opponent has something like a Mewtwo, I might be able to live 2 Psycho Cuts. Let's see. My opponent was pretty late on the switch, and yeah, I throw, so at 5, he would have thrown the Side Strike. So I actually threw after my opponent got to 6, because that's 1 before he gets to a Shadow Ball, and this is going to be GG. This is going to be the last battle, and we have a Mamoswine lead. This is probably the worst lead. You can see, actually, that's not even close to true. Togekiss, Sylveon are by far going to be the worst leads, but doing double super effective against your lead, you know, not pleasant. My opponent actually is staying in. He lets the first drill run go. I'm going to shield this Avalanche, and what my opponent does is he switches into Lugia, so almost got me with that drill run, but I was just fast enough to react, and I'm going to get these Rock Slides off. I think he was maybe trying to catch, but he miscalculated my energy count, and at this point I can let a Sky Attack go. And we all know 3 Rock Slides KOs Lugia, and I should be getting a shield here. I actually throw it 4 timing, letting a Dragon Tail go through. But I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to let another Sky Attack go through. Probably go for... Oh, so he has an Mamoswine. I could have definitely considered going for the farm down, but my opponent was at a move. So he's going to let it go down, and he's coming back into Lugia. I am very curious as to what my opponent has in the back. I actually farmed down. My opponent had a Sky Attack, and he has Shadow Mewtwo in the back. This is going to be a coin flip. So we're going to get this Meteor Mash off. And my opponent, he's going to farm up a lot. I think this is like 10 Psycho Cuts, and it's just going to be a coin flip. Do I shield the nuke? Do I let the Side Strike go? I shield the nuke, and we get to a Meteor Mash. So if I would have let the Shadow Ball go, I would have lost. If I would have gotten baited, my opponent would have been able to get to the Shadow Ball. So I made the right call, and the coin flip was in my favor. So GG's, another 4-1 set, and yeah, thank you guys so much for all the recent support. It means so much to me. I know I say this every video, but you guys are insane. Getting my Garchomp video to almost 3,000 views is absolutely nuts, and I'm already at 80 subscribers. Like, the growth has been exponential, and I'm so thankful. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.